Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Two Grown Men. As usual, tonight we have Yemi and Olaomi. Hi, Yemi. How you doing, bro? What's going on?
Not bad at all. How are you, Laomi?
Man, I'm breathing. Oh. I'm breathing. In Tinubu's Nigeria, man. We are breathing.
We
It's
thank God for
hard,
breath.
but we
We,
thank
th- we
goodness for
thank
life.
God for
Thank
breath.
God for we thank God for life
Yes,
and the breath to be
absolutely.
able to complain. We thank
Mm,
God for breath.
mm, mm.
So I had an interesting experience yesterday,
What
and I thought
happened?
I'd
What
bring
happened?
it to the house. So I was out with some friends. It's just a group of friends that get together and just talk.
Hmm.
Group of
What did you
mature
guys talk
people
about?
our age, life, everything, relationships, love, life, marriage,
Mm.
everything, pretty much like this. But it's
Okay.
a room full of people of different ages. So
Mm.
everything from 30, and a couple of guys there there was a man there who was probably in his 60s. So there was this girl that was there,
Mm.
and she asked this question. She said, I was out last week. I met this guy, and then at some point he said to me, "Look, I am weary of talking to you, or getting your number because all you men want is money."
Well, I got to have the money. And I'm talking about, take your time. I'm talking about the big bucks. I ain't talking about that little bitty money. We're talking about big money.
And I don't have money to spend, I don't have that kind of money to throw away. And all of you girls seem to want guys to have big money. And if we don't have big money, you're not interested in us. Therefore, I don't want to engage. And she said she was a bit miffed. She was a bit upset about it. So she brought it to the house and said, guys, why do you people have the perception that women are only after money? And why do you people have the perception that all women are materialistic, that all women are only after money and stuff, that some of us are working, we don't need your money?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before she finished talking, see all the boys, this is a room with like 20 guys. It's a room with like 40, 50. Anyway, it's a large crowd.
Question:
Anyway, yes.
Why wasn't I invited?
You have to cross the sea.
Go on.
You
Go on.
need
Go
to
on. Go
cross
on.
the sea, yeah. Because she said it, all the boys.
Yourself the season.
All start laughing. Ah! So she's like, why are you guys laughing now? And someone said, you like in this evening, you girls were generalizing. You girls said all men cheat. And one or two guys in the room said, oh, but we've never cheated. And then now you're saying we're generalizing that all women want money. But if you can generalize that all men are cheats, then we can generalize that all women want money. But having said that, in this room, while we're talking in this room,
Mm-hmm.
at least three women have made reference to, if you meet a guy, he better have money, be able to take you out and afford a certain lifestyle. And so why are you getting upset by the fact that, and if you ask all the guys in this room, every single one of us would say the same thing, that if you don't have money, don't bother talking to women. So why are you upset if you guys give out this vibe that no romance without finance? And I mean, people think about it. So if you girls give off this vibe that a guy has to be able to look to provide X, Y, Z for you, buy you 10 million naira hair, buy you trips to wherever it is, expensive cars and all that stuff. Wasn't the girl saying recently that the least a guy must give a talking stage 500,000 naira? A talking stage 500,000 naira. And if a guy gives you 25 million naira, she can lie there and make a starfish. And he can do whatever he wants to do with her. So there's all over social media, the women talking about how if you want to sleep with me, or you want to hang out with me, you want to date me, you want to be involved with me, you want to be in my life for whatever reason, you have to spend money. So why are you upset that guys have now taken that gospel forward? And just that's now gospel truth, that if you don't have any money, you're not going to be, no one's going to jar you face.
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't debate it. for me, I pretty much accepted that these days, if you don't have money, forget it.
So, what is she upset about? Is she
That the
upset?
guy,
Hold on. Is
yeah,
she upset that he had the nerve to say it and he had the balls and the temerity to
say to her face,
fast track his time?
uh,
That guy is a gem of a man. That man has fast tracked his time, his
yeah,
resources,
yeah,
his data, whatever else. He's telling her, I don't want to waste time with you. And I'm telling you
mhm,
up front that I'm not that guy. But if you want to roll with me, I'm available.
yeah.
So is she upset that he was honest enough to say it? What
Honestly,
exactly? Or is she upset that he generalized her as part of the women that like money?
the latter. She was upset that he said to her that I know that if there's no money involved, you will not be interested.
So where's the lie? Where is the lie? Allow me, where's the lie?
I don't see the lie. I just don't see the
You
lie.
and I know that most men can probably live in a cardboard box. If they, I mean, in the jungle, I mean, we all lived in jungles at some point, apparently, but
I was
maybe
born in
not
the
yet.
city. My sisters were
At
born
some,
in whatever it was in the Stone Ages, whatever the city was in the Stone Age. My sisters were born in the city.
there was a time we didn't have air conditioning, heating, and all of that, right? All those things. Yes, there was actually a time. So I mean, back to the point, right? So the question that you asked was is a very genuine and very important question.
Hmm.
Are all women materialistic? So I'm using your story. I'm using the story that you
Hmm.
um that you posed and bringing it to this particular conversation. I would say yes, but not at the same time.
Explain.
Yes. So you have those that are materialistic from the jump, right from late teens to 20s, and you have those that become materialistic as they get older because tastes change,
Hmm.
uh, comfort levels change, what they want out
Hmm.
of life changes. Ultimately, a woman is geared towards being materialistic because women prioritize their comfort way more than men. Way more than men. So they prioritize their comfort in terms of wanting to live a better life, what you call soft life, what you call um, a more comfortable surrounding, which costs money, right? But
Hmm.
then, if you now say all women, you and I know that we have not met all women,
Hmm.
right? So I'll probably say most, but like I said earlier, all, but at
Hmm.
various times. I'll say various times in their lives. So they want different things out of different times of their lives. Now, the lady in question you're talking about, if you were to speak to her and say, okay, this guy who's come to you and has said this particular thing, if he didn't say it, let's assume he didn't say it, he had a conversation with you and you guys started talking, you exchanged numbers, etc., and he took you out on a date, and you got to the date, and the check came, and they expected you to split the bill. What would you think about that guy? Now, you've
Hmm.
said it. You've said it. You have your own money. You work. You do this. Yes, we know. You're doing well. Kudos and well done. But what would you think about the guy? Would it be okay? Would it be completely okay? And if it wasn't okay, would you consider yourself materialistic? So, two questions. Over to you.
So I don't buy the idea that all women are materialistic. I just don't. I just don't buy it.
Okay.
I don't. I happen to know a few women who don't. Who are not about your material. If you say that every woman wants to be comfortable and looked after, be comfortable. Let's start with comfortable. Looked after can be controversial. Comfortable, yeah. Every human being wants to be comfortable. I don't think that's peculiar to women. Having said that, I do know that there's no denying it. And it's not peculiar to our society.
Yeah.
But there's no denying the fact that the way the world is wired right now, with social media and all that, we've so glamorized the soft life that it's two things. Now, you've glamorized the soft life and you've glamorized somebody providing the soft life. You've now glamorized, look, you want a soft life, there's a guy, so high value men.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody now wants a high value man, so they can get it's like the high value man is the fastest ticket to the good life.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want the good life and you don't have the means or the drive to work for it, then the best thing actually, it's looking like the default is to find the high value man. And that the women who are still saying I can do this myself are sort of in the minority.
So
That's
allow
how
me
it
this.
constitutes.
This is where I disagree with you, and I'll say why I disagree with you is because of the concept of hypergamy. So hypergamy is a notion that says that women date and marry sideways and above.
Mm-hmm.
Then the opposite of hypergamy is hypogamy, that men date and marry sideways and below.
And below.
Now, are there exceptions? Yes, there are billionaires who. It's been a long time since I heard of a billionaire who married a billionaire man that married a billionaire woman. But their children do marry each other. But what you won't see happening is many billionaire women marrying men that are not at their level.
It's not common.
It's not common. But you have a lot of men. Okay, maybe billionaire is a stretch. You have a lot of millionaires. Okay, Chris Rock cracked a joke. I actually saw it live. And he said, if Beyonce worked at Burger King, Jay-Z would still marry Beyonce.
Yeah.
And he said, but if Jay-Z was working at Burger King and he just left it, and the whole crowd, including me, erupted in laughter.
Died, yeah, of course.
And that is just
that's
what
your
I'm
answer
talking
right
about.
there.
Yeah, in a nutshell. So even when women do have what you've said, they're doing well, they've got the nice house, the nice car, the businesses, they do say that the ones that you mentioned that are doing well and don't need a man's money, some way in their subconscious, they still want to marry a man that is, as I said, sideways and higher. But a man that is of that level doesn't mind. And we have too many examples. We have too many examples of the high value men that you mentioned who people say, oh, you've married down. How would you marry a waitress? How would you marry a lady that has no social standing, no class? But the guy is looking at her and she looks great. She makes him happy. She's peaceful. And the guy's like, okay, I'll run.
She meets his needs.
She meets his needs.
Whatever those needs are.
And guess what? His needs are not material because he's meeting his needs through his craft, whatever that craft is. Like you said, going out, busting his ass, trying to make money. Now, I'm not saying women don't do that. Of course, women do that, and kudos to the women. They've worked really, really hard. But I think sometimes they can't box themselves in a corner where they now want a man that is of that equivalent or higher status, which means at the point of them making money, the money still isn't that much of a relevance in a relationship because they still need that support system. But if it's a man doesn't need that support system because he already has enough to carry everybody along the journey, if that makes sense. So because of the notion of hypergamy, Now, where women don't practice hypergamy, I totally agree with you. Where there are women that don't practice hypergamy, who their reasons for wanting to have long-term relationships and marriage isn't based
Mhm.
on financial stability and isn't based on them being at the same level financially, then those will be the ones that you've mentioned that, yeah, they're not materialistic, but you'll find that they're probably in the minority. What do you think?
You know, eh, very good points raised. Very, very good points raised. Hypergamy, hypogamy. Very, you
Mhm.
don't tell. I mean, you tell no lies. I think every woman ultimately will look for financial security. You can say everything you want to say about gender roles and no gender roles, they do exist, whatever it is. But the average woman also look to a man for certain levels of security.
Even if
Even
she has
if,
more than enough.
yeah, even if she has more than
Even if
enough,
she has more than,
we
that's what I'm
expect you
saying.
to meet a certain minimum standard, which is great. Um, but you will still get those cases. Look, every woman wants
It's
security.
different. Mhm.
Even if she has more than you, unless you're a complete toy boy,
Yeah.
I think she's still looking at, okay, you can do a certain. I guess that's the hypergamy. That's the par. I do know that I do know a lot of women who say, oh, if he's not doing X Y Z for me, then I'm not interested. One of the amazing things is that some of these women are women that 10, 20 years ago didn't talk like that, didn't
What did I
care.
say earlier? Allow me. What did I
Yeah.
say earlier?
So yeah. I mean
I
that
said all women
proves your
are
point. Yeah.
materialistic, but not at the same time. So
Yeah,
things
you did
happen.
say that. Yeah.
So probably 20 years ago, she had the Disney ideal of marrying for love or marrying for,
Mhm,
marrying for, she wanted to marry a soulmate.
mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, who are we to say she shouldn't marry a soulmate? Who are we to say she shouldn't marry who she wants to marry? But life gets in the way. You get older, and then you have more needs, and
Reality bites.
reality bites. You have bills, you have this, you have that, and then you wonder, okay, I have this standard now, and I'm not going to go beyond or below that
Below this.
standard. So even when you say it, I always say it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Hmm.
So you can say anything, but what are your actions? Are your actions conveying what you say? Are they at par? Are they in sync with what you're saying? Or you're at a mismatch? Because you can say anything. You can say absolutely anything. So, and the data is showing that one of the reasons why women are also delaying maybe long-term relationships is the same financial stability we're saying, which is linked to
Hmm.
career. Because you can't take career in isolation. Because if you want to get to a certain place in your career, either you want to be a
You're
partner,
going to
CEO,
sacrifice time.
CEO, you're going to sacrifice time, and you want to be compensated for it. And then you do get compensated for it. But then you now also want somebody of that level, which we're not saying is a bad thing. We're not saying it's a bad thing. That's not what we're saying here. It's not a bad thing.
But don't get upset if a guy then assumes that, especially if you
And
talk.
back to
Look,
the point, you
go
were
to
saying.
Instagram today. Go to Instagram today. Go to
TikTok. Go to
TikTok.
TikTok.
Go to TikTok. If you watch 10 videos made by women,
Mhm.
a huge chunk of those videos are going to be talking about the good life, whatever it is, telling the idea that some guy should come and provide the good life, or you better, if you can't afford me, you don't want me. And I understand the woman setting her standard and saying, this is my minimum. I accept, this is where I'm coming from. I'll accept no less than this. And
Mhm.
there are cases, I mean, yesterday we were discussing this thing, and we did say that a woman should never marry down, um, because it just creates chaos.
Hmm.
That was someone's opinion, and they made very good points for why they think that way. And yeah, I could see the sense in that. But it just it's the message. It's the immutable message.
Hmm.
So my friend was saying yesterday in the room, he was like, look, that this thing, that there's no point. And he's single because he's divorced. He was like, look, there's no point. If I don't have cash in my pocket, I'm not trying to talk to anybody. And this guy is 50-ish, very comfortable. And it's like, look, that
but he knows what he's talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. It's not,
It's
it's not under illusion. You know, he's not a young man. He's middle-aged. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he probably has enough experience. So I think maybe that's why he said what he said. Like, let's not waste each other's time. I'm not a kid anymore. And I think it probably threw her off. It shocked her. Because that kind of honesty is probably not usual. What's usual is you meet, you talk, you date, and then you start to see the cracks. Okay, you're not for me, you're not for me. But that guy probably just cut everything from up front to say, "You look, this is me, and I can't offer this." And yeah, she's probably offended. But is she saying
she was offended? She was offended.
No, of course. Why should I mention it to you? But she's saying she's not. She was telling you she's not actually like that. Okay. Fair enough.
That was her point. But unanimously, all the guys in the room shut her down.
Yes.
They shut her down instantly. Now, listen, you cannot say that here. In this room,
but allow me.
People have this, yeah?
This is not news to us. What happened in late secondary school and university? What happened? Who were the guys that were getting the ladies?
The boys that had cash.
It was the boys that had cash. It was the boys that had family names. It was the boys that were considerably maybe taller, could dance, used to throw parties. There was a value attached to these guys back then. And then, early university, probably year one, I did a semester or so before I left Niger. And I would say that the guys that had cars as jambites had a huge advantage over the rest of us, including myself, who went to uni without no car. And we had to, get a bike or had to get on the campus bus or campus shuttle. So the guys that had cars, so that was the materialism then. That they weren't rich, they were not wealthy, but they had something that 95% of first years didn't have. They had a car. Now, it didn't matter that this car wasn't a Mercedes or it wasn't a BMW. Some of them were Beetles, some of them were 504s then, but they had a car, which meant that lady or those ladies didn't have to queue in the sun, didn't have to walk in the sun. Their boyfriend could pick them up from the hostel in the morning and pick them up in the evening, anywhere they wanted to go to town or anything. They had a boyfriend that him having a car then meant he had status. So, and that was the currency then. That was the currency. That was the materialism currency. So I don't see how we went from that age group, 17 to 21 or 17 to 22, and then 20, 30 years later, 20 years later or whatever, we are now less than what it used to be then. I don't think so. The world has changed.
And the world is changed and the world still stays the same. People are people. They will always default to certain behaviors. So,
but I know this is probably going to segue into another conversation about money versus values. But I think we'll probably need to take that in another episode. Separately. But I guess the people who you probably have spoken to who say money isn't the thing for them, probably for them is probably values. Because some people, values is what, what value does this person have? What character does this person have? But when once you get to the money conversation, you guys have to live. You guys have to live. So,
is it
final thoughts?
One of the things that struck me was how upset she was about it.
Why was she upset? If you're not that
And then,
person, why should
and
you
then
get upset?
she said, I don't want to be judged. They're judging all women. Like all women are only after money. And she was saying the boys were laughing.
Bolam, if a woman said that you were broke and you knew you were not broke, would you be offended? So if she knows she's not materialistic and the guy didn't say she was materialistic, he just said, all women, he didn't say you like money, he said all women like money.
Yeah.
I don't have money.
It's like, I know women
So
are after money.
yeah,
and
so
they-
I
and
think
they
she
don't
could have
have
just
money,
said,
they
yeah,
can't
but
possibly have money.
I'm not materialistic like that. So I'm not that kind of person. I'm not all women.
She said she told him, but she was upset that he jumped to conclusion. The fact that he started out with that conclusion was what upset her.
That's what rubbed her.
Mm,
That's what rubbed
the
her the
wrong
wrong
way.
way. Mm.
Totally the wrong way. And she didn't like, I mean, all the guys were like, but you people are like this now. And
So was she arguing with the guys?
she was trying to make a case that no, not all women are materialistic. And guys are like, we concede. We concede. Okay, not all women. Yeah, not one of them. Okay, thank you. Well done. But
yeah.
So I mean, and if you ask 10 guys, if you conducted a random poll today, I think most of the guys you talk to will tell you that no romance without finance.
Most. And you mentioned the songs. Look at all the songs. It's been there for
You got
years,
to have a
for decades.
J-O-B if you want to be with me.
Precisely.
No
And so
romance
many.
without finance.
Yes. No, so many songs. Hip hop, R&B, so many songs. Popular culture.
I've heard this justification. Women say men are going to cheat. So at least if he's going to cheat on you while you're dating, at least enjoy yourself, enjoy his money. But so I mean, at that point, you're reducing it to a transaction.
Yes.
He's going to cheat or he's going to break your heart one day. And then what would you have gained? He's going to waste your time. What would you have gained from, at least if you're collecting money from him? When the relationship is over, you have things that you could have shown, whether it's holidays or gifts or whatever it is, or a few Bone Street wigs, whatever it is, you got something to show for the relationship. It's always going to sound strange to guys. But again, one point that we tend to make is, but if you have money, you will spend money unless you're stingy. But let it come from me voluntarily. Not that to start with at the door. So my friend is asking today that if I came to take you out, would you accept going to mention a very regular restaurant? Go, I was like, of course not. And he's like, well, I didn't agree with him. The fact that the woman refused to go to a particular restaurant with doesn't mean she's materialistic. She just might not be in the mood that day. But it was quite interesting to watch.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. So what
when women say he's going to cheat on me anyway, so I might as well get something out of it. I think it cheapens.
Alam, I think we should take that separately. I think we should take that one separately. But it cheapens the experience, like you said. It becomes very transactional. Like you said, yeah.
And then just appreciate me. But if I don't appreciate you, you'll be upset and you will withdraw your favors. He's sleeping with me. What am I getting out of it? And it's
Benny.
So you make it a transaction. Okay, so in exchange for your body. But they don't, a lot of people don't see it that way. And I also agree that depending on if you're a generous person, you have money, you will look after the women in your life. Standard.
Yeah.
Whether it's gifts or
bills. To the best of your ability and your
stingy,
capability. Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But where it becomes a condition precedent, where before you can even talk, Bros. Like the girl that said at talking stage she wants 500, that within her first couple of days of conversation, she's billing him 500,000 naira, 1
Sadia, is it
million naira,
Sadia Bosch? Yeah, Sadia. Is it
yeah,
Sadia? Yeah.
budge or something.
Bodge, yeah, Sadia Bodge, yeah.
That's annoying.
Okay.
So the girl cannot turn around later and say, I mean, if a guy then says you're materialistic, she cannot turn around and say, no, it's not material. If most of the guys I know that watched that video said, this girl, don't go. You don't go.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know. And she was upset. Some women were like, no, let's not be obsessed about it. But she was upset. Just like, but it's true now. All the boys are like, he's a lie, Joe. You cannot say, boy, you can love. All the boys say, hey, keep quiet. Keep quiet. Cannot love anybody.
You know why I said all? Because I use the word all because I know so many women that have actually been the one to tell me that all women like money or all women are materialistic. I've heard it more from women these days than from men. And that's why I said all, but not at the same time. But I know how generalizations can be when you generalize. People are like, okay, but why are you generalizing? Because you're saying 100%. Yemi, is that accurate? Yemi, is that fair to generalize this behavior
It's probably
to all
not fair,
women?
but we all generalize.
Yeah. I mean, at some point we do all generalize, and yeah, there are exceptions. And this materialism that we're talking about is also from, there are different reasons why it happens. It could be from, upbringing, background. It could be greed. It could be
Greed is a factor for some people.
yes,
Greed is a
life. It could be a life event. It could be education or lack of education. But you see that greed is key. And then lately, you mentioned media, social media,
the
societal
good life is in front of you.
expectations.
Who no like better thing? The good life is right in front of you there. Luxury cars, phones, gadgets, travel, holidays, clothes, shoes, wristwatches, hair, going straight. Like, so you understand that it's tough to live a quiet, aesthetic, or Spartan life. It's going to be tough. And they're putting out there in front of you. And it's not to give anybody like intention. But you can't complain. My own is just you can't complain. Sorry. If 7 out of 10 think a particular way, or 8 out of 10.
Yeah, if you're not that person, don't get offended. Keep it moving. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, but I also feel sorry for the guys coming behind us. Those guys are 25 or 30 who are looking for a wife. It's you.
Benio.
Because you're not like, how do you pick something genuine in this world where everything's so fake, everything's so transactional? Should you even bother looking? And how would you know?
Maybe that's what's contributing to the lower marital rates globally.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I said that. Maybe that's what's contributing. I'm not saying that's the major reason, but maybe that's one of the contributors to declining marital rates.
Marital rates, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're expecting every guy to come to the table with X minions, X assets, X financial worth, you have to pay a price.
Yeah. So I think we should leave that one here. Let us know what you think in the comments of this particular episode. Give us a like. Please subscribe to our channel and share this content to as many people as possible. The topic again that we mentioned are all women materialistic. So I'm of the view, yes, but at different times, Olami took a different position and said, no, he doesn't believe so. And that's fine. We won't always agree. We'll have polarizing views on two grown men. But one thing you'll be assured of is a healthy conversation between two grown men talking about different things that they love and they admire, and things about society. So make sure you leave a comment. If you have a story you want us to cover, please
Send us
write
an email or
to two
check
grown
us out
men.
on twogrownmen@gmail.com.
We
We'll
also
put that
have a
on the screen.
Twitter. Yeah, we also have our next page. It's brand new. We're also on IG. So if you don't want to send us an email, just send us a DM to our IG page. It's Two Grown Men, GROAWN Men, MEN, on Instagram, and on X. It's just look for Two Grown Men. The number 2 grown men. And we'll see you in the next one. Signing out.
Good night. Good night.